wanted to conclude Module 2 by asking some larger philosophical questions about money and musicians. Audiences in the United States seem to have contradictory perspectives about the money that musicians make. Sometimes you hear news stories about corporate CEOs who seem to get paid more than they're worth, and there is a vocal minority of people who talk about the 1% and the distribution of wealth being uneven in this country. But in general, Americans are pretty tolerant about the wealth of business people who create products that we love. The iPhone inventor, that guy should be rich. The guy who designed and manufactured this car, he should be rich. This attitude, however, in my experience, does not always apply to musicians and the work that they do. On the one hand, the sort of glory days of the rock and roll excess in the 1970s, images of Led Zeppelin, for example, standing in front of their private jet, are often celebrated and glorified. The conspicuous consumption and bling associated with hip-hop and other genres in American music is celebrated. The same thing can be true of country music and some other genres where people, sort of flaunt the wealth that they've made through their music. On the other hand, Taylor Swift, the indie band Pomplamoose, Jay-Z, and countless other musicians have been vilified in the press, accused of greed, misappropriation of funds, naivety, wimpiness, obnoxiousness, just general tone deafness, when they have spoken up about what they believe to be unfair payment practices or financial dealings in the music industry. I've experienced this ambivalence about musicians and money myself. Recently, I played a gig at a small club here in Nashville, and at the end of the show, a man came up to me and thanked me for choosing such a difficult life in order to bring music to people. I think he, I guess I looked rough that day, and he thought that I looked like I was struggling. Well, I have had times in my life early on when I couldn't make rent, and I certainly know that a lot of musicians here in town who struggle financially, but as you can see, I've got a good job now, and so I felt that it was unethical for me to sort of let him think that I was broke. So I told him not to worry. I have a job at Vanderbilt University, and he was visibly disappointed. I think he wanted to believe that I was a starving artist, and it was such an interesting moment for me. There are also stereotypes about the lazy, loutish, maybe drug-addled behavior that should not be rewarded by musicians. There are stereotypes about musicianship being a gift rather than something a person goes to work on every day from 9 to 5 and works hard on. There are also fantasies about the supposedly carefree life on the road, which I can tell you is a very difficult life, but I think people like to believe that it's sort of fun all the time. At the heart of current debates about copyright are these questions about fair compensation and making sure that innovation isn't stifled because of the difficulty of the music licensing process. For example, it was a very complicated process to record a song for this course, and you may have noticed other Coursera courses using various workarounds in order to use music and other licensed material in their classes. Please take a few minutes to think about public attitudes towards financial compensation for musicians. Are you more likely to purchase music if it seems like the musician needs the money? Imagine if this logic were applied to other industries. I think I'll pay for this fried chicken because the restaurant owner looks like he works hard. Or, McDonald's has enough money now. I'm not going to pay for this hamburger.